Welcome to Rewrite Reality, where we peel back the layers of how we imagine our world, then explore what it means to build different futures. I'm Gregg the Artivist, and on today's episode, we dive into what climate change is really telling us. Join me to reflect, challenge assumptions, and spark possibility. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. So, I was having dinner last night with some friends when one friend said to me, "Hey Gregg, I've been meaning to ask you for a while now, why do you care so much about climate change? You don't have kids and it's not going to impact you in your lifetime." At first, I was like, well, I have a niece and 4 nephews and climate change is already a thing, but it got me thinking deeper. It got me thinking about people's bigger picture understanding about climate change and climate justice. And what I mean by this is, when I'm talking about climate change or fighting for climate justice, I'm not just talking about, crazy weather and rising waters. So I'm curious, have you ever wondered what climate change actually represents? Maybe you could just take a moment now and drop a word or your thoughts in the comment box below, and we'll come back to them later on. So why am I so concerned about climate change? Being childless and apparently too old to witness the impacts of climate change. And I have to thank my mate for that. Think of climate change as a massive warning sign that's literally being held in our faces saying, hey guys, there's something seriously wrong with how you are living. And this is not just about, the weather going haywire. Climate change is like the result of a ton of societal issues, both old and new. It highlights the flaws in our systems, our beliefs, and our practices, and it's not always obvious the connection. A lot of people just won't see the bigger picture unless they're deeply involved in climate discussions, like through their work or research, or constantly absorbing information like me by attending climate conferences and events. But I can tell you, from everything that I've learned, climate change is a legacy of colonialism, where power and control were taken by a few at the expense of the many. And this history of inequality and discrimination still impacts our modern day lives. It's just wrapped up a little bit differently. Think when big corporations exploit resources in poor countries like fast fashion, where there's these mega factories of people working, earning next to nothing because they're in poorer countries. That's colonialism in action. And so then climate change is tightly linked to human rights, showing the disparities in how communities are affected. It also underscores the importance of knowledge and how the sharing of knowledge or suppressing of knowledge can shape our responses to these global challenges. Furthermore, climate change exposes just how fragile our societal systems are and how deeply interconnected and dependent we are on these systems, and how deeply interconnected and dependent these systems are on each other. And a great example of this is oil. We've had countless alternatives over the years, but we're stuck to oil like our lives depend on it. And maybe more relevant, think of supermarkets for an example. Imagine living in a big city and all of a sudden all the supermarkets stop getting supplies. One hiccup in our fragile societal systems could lead to widespread chaos. So the only way to keep the system operating is growth, and growth is also breaking down the system and a cause of climate change. And then, if not fragile enough, our societal systems are heavily influenced by politics, global power dynamics, conflicts, which often make these issues worse. And capitalism and greed drive consumerism, leading to unsustainable practice in food production and resource extraction, which in turn wreak havoc on the environment. And then the climate crisis also reveals the dark side of our society and the persuasive lies and deception that we're fed, whether it's misinformation about climate science or it's corporations using greenwashing tactics to profit unduly. We need to confront some really uncomfortable truths about our economic and political systems, awakening to the lack of transparency, accountability, and a genuine will of change. And climate change underscores the massive disconnect between humanity with itself and humanity and nature, the very vessel that sustains us, aka the planet. It highlights our arrogance in thinking that we know the best, what's best for the planet, like a fetus deciding what's best for its mother from the womb. And there's our arrogance in believing that there's a technological or financial fix, which is just staggering. And then, the mainstream environmentalism and sustainability policies don't tackle the root causes. Instead, they're all about using capitalism to save capitalism from capitalism, to quote Ruth Wilson Gilmore. So, whether I have children or not, climate change is happening now. We live in a world of disconnection, discrimination, inequality, and injustice. And climate change itself is this kind of retribution for these behaviors. So the reason why I'm so concerned about climate change and I fight for climate justice is that I do so tackling these interconnected issues head on. It's about us recognizing the deep roots of the problem, working towards systemic change and healing of our disconnection from nature and from each other, to try and create a more equitable and harmonious relationship with the planet and its inhabitants, ensuring that all communities can thrive in a healthy, balanced ecosystem with respect for all forms of life at the forefront. So, after that, I'm curious, from the word or thoughts you had earlier about climate change at the beginning of this video, how has this discussion changed how you think about climate change? If so, or if you have any other thoughts, please do drop them in the comment box below. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Rewrite Reality. If this resonates, consider sharing with someone who might also be thinking deeply about the world around them. And head over to greggtheartivist.com to explore more. I have the same episode in full with extra content as well as ways to connect. Also, if you haven't yet, subscribe or follow wherever you listen so you can catch future episodes. Until next time, stay curious, keep questioning, and remember, together we can reshape what's possible.